All right, well, I am totally excited. I actually sold my radial arm saw, and as much as I love this saw, it just wasn't being used. And there's just so many people out there that are really wanting these radial arm saws now. So the value of them actually was pretty good. So if you didn't know what it looked like before, there's just some pictures of it right there. But this is what I've got to work with. That notch, obviously, in the cabinets above, that's going to be helpful because of the tool that I want to put in here. It's going to kind of seat right in this area, but the handle is going to go up. It's going to actually go into that little notch area, so it's really going to be perfect for it. The area that I have to work with is essentially the same size as my line boring machine. So it occurred to me that I should be using my line boring machine in here instead of the radial arm saw. And so I decided to go ahead and put it on Craigslist, and it was sold within a week and full asking price. So that's pretty cool. So I think what I want to do just right away is put the line boring machine right here and just kind of see what it feels like, see how it works. I'll have to put it on something so it raises it up at the right height, but let me go grab it. It's pretty heavy. How could that possibly be? It's exactly the right height. What the heck? No way. You got to see this. And I am not kidding you right now. How is that possible? That just random thickness of my outfeeds. I actually have enough room to do pretty much all my jobs here. So the only time I will have to move this guy to do larger stuff is if I'm doing like a large library, full 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot high. Obviously at that point I'll have to move it. So my plan then, when I move it, rather than putting it on the main workbench, I actually have a better situation. I will put it right here. And I'll put it right here, and I'll put my outriggers right here and on the other side. And it will actually go right underneath the Capex there. So this whole workbench will become my line boring setup. And then I can just bring it over here and slide it back into its spot. This makes it real easy to move because it is fairly heavy. But if I were to just to lift it up to get it to that spot, I can do that no problem. This is definitely nice. As much as I think I'm going to miss my radial arm saw, I am going to like this setup 100 times better. For this, I use a lot more than the radial saw, so I am stoked. Okay, well, just wanted to show you the progress there. So this is complete as far as that goes. Okay, for the time being, this is where this is going to be. When I say time being, I'm pretty sure this is where it's going to be. It'll just be on a pull-out that I can just bring out, and if I want to use it, I can just use it sitting here, or I can put it up to the counter. But at this point, I think a pull-out shelf will be great for this. That hose is okay, but it's really like stiff. So, and it's probably too long, but if you put it on an extension drawer, it would need to be long like that. When I do stuff with this, it's usually not like really hardcore stuff. It's like jig making or coping something. It's not really that big a deal. Yeah, that's cool. I'm wet sanding this so to get rid of any imperfections. So I'm using 800 grit wet dry sandpaper. It's a little cloudy, of course. That's what's going to look like when you're done wet sanding it. I'll wipe it with a little alcohol, and then it'll be ready for another coat of paint. Okay, I didn't have any good luck getting this cleared up. It is nice and clean, but it's still yellow. And so I'm going to swap it with my one off my General. You can see the difference. They're pretty, let me see if I can get them light in here. It's a pretty big difference, the amount of yellowing that that left one has. So this must be like a different membrane or something than other stuff that can be cleared up with vinegar and baking soda. And polishing. I polished this too. But this one needs to be cleaned up as well. And I would like to buy a new one, but I'm honestly not sure where to get it. And probably in this day and age, it'd probably be, you know, on back order or something. No, this is going to be fine. I'll just use this one. And this doesn't have any yellowing. This is kind of like if you have a car and your headlights are cloudy. It just doesn't look good, right? As soon as you clean those up, your car looks so much better. And if you're going to sell your car or whatever, headlights that are cloudy really bring the value down, and vice versa. That's kind of my feeling on this. I want this to be nice and clean. I don't want there to be a bunch of, you know, yellowed plastic on this guy. I want the thing to look really cool. All right, that's much better. Okay, so you can see, if you can see the difference, I mean, they're pretty stark. This one's a little thicker actually too, the old one. But that's my original from the General. Okay, I'll go put this on when it's ready. Okay, I went ahead and sprayed this again. So it's had plenty of time to dry, but I just kind of wanted to go over what it is that I discovered with the particular clear coat that I was using. The clear that I was using was a Rust-Oleum crystal clear enamel. I never really felt like it was protecting this. And so I really decided that I needed to paint it again, all parts of this. And I'm so glad I did. This finish, I mean, it is just like, I'm not kidding. It's so smooth and it's just unbelievable. So yeah, night and day difference. So my guess is if you're looking for more durable finish, you got to go away from the Rust-Oleum clears. And I didn't use the 2K. I used a this is what I used, a Raptor 1K Pro Enamel. And this stuff is hard to find. Actually, I just came across it in the AutoZone, and you know, I was reading about it. It's pretty impressive. So I just decided, might as well try it, right? Non-yellowing finish, diamond clear, resists fading, and it's 5 times tougher than other traditional lacquers. That's what it says. I think I put 3 coats on, or 4. But between this and the other thing, I used 1 whole can. Okay, I've got these over here. Sprayed those yesterday. They dried all night. Got this back here. So you can still see the scratches that the previous owner had put into this, but that's okay. I mean, this finish is much better than it was originally with the clear coat that I had put on this before. So I'm pretty happy about that. Letting this dry overnight. Got the rip fence here. This is a tricky one to paint. What I've determined is the best way to do it is to put it on its top like that, and basically just let it dry. So it's raised up on the handles there. And then when I painted the top, I actually held the handles. So I was able to hold it with one arm, spray it, and then flip it over and do the whole thing. So that's the process. It's a little bit tedious, but it works, because I couldn't put really anything under this to raise it up. This is the way I elected to do it. And you can't set it down because you'll hit this. So the original has a wrinkled finish, right? That's the look of it. This is the material support piece. So looks good. I can still see the scratches. That's okay with me. I don't really care. As long as this has got a good finish on it. Looks nice. This part here has been, this is a tricky one. So basically what I do is I set it down on those, and the track keeps this thing from sitting down. So basically it's off the surface there. So that's nice. The carriage bolts are good for this. And then I've got parts hanging here. And to round it out, yeah. So this is the main table here. It's going to get hammered, I know that, but I wanted to start off with at least as good of chance I had. This is the front, this is the saw, and this is the right side, this is the back. And you might recognize this. This is the this is the really dirty shop vac that I had in my sanding center and router table. I went ahead and changed it out. Put the small one in here because I'm going to sell it, and that guy fits nice. It's good. I just had to modify the hole right there in order to raise it up a little. Yeah. I cleaned up some of the soot in here, but you know, it's a little dirty. But this guy hardly has any use, and now the fact that I can't get bags for this one, it's great because the dust deputy will take care of that, so the filter won't clog, and it's perfect. So nice. I could even put a shelf in there if I wanted to. Very cool. A lot of stuff going on here. A lot of stuff going on. So when I first got this, it's had quite a bit of discoloration, and basically, I don't want to say it was rusty, but it was pretty dirty. I polished it up, but I'm going to polish it even more and get rid of some of the, you know, blemishes that are on it. But this thing was really nice. I shined it up nicely, and I'm sure I can get it even shinier. Little spots like that I want to get rid of. Little like rust spots. Yeah. Start off as good as possible, and then, you know, whatever happens, happens. The top looks really good too. So nice. All right. These paint finishes, you think that they're dry. You're like, oh, I can move it, but you can't. You got to really wait because if you think that you can move something that's been painted a couple hours ago, even 3 maybe hours ago, sometimes you can. Depends on how heavy it is. That guy right there is so heavy that when I pick it up, I have to squeeze really tightly, and that actually caused a thumb mark to go in the paint. So I realized that wasn't good. So I decided to paint it in place the next time, and then I just decided, forget about it. I'm going to paint it there because it was a lot of work to cover up all this, and I just have to take that off, the leg on it, because it's too tall to put it on that trash can. Okay, I've got a Harbor Freight. This is a Chicago Electric, very basic polisher that I've had for a while, and I just got this pad though. I've had this pad for a while, but I've never used it, so it's a brand new pad. So it's a little guy, but it gets in here nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and just try to polish this guy up a little bit, just because I want to get it as good as possible before I put everything back together. That's all. Big for the container of polish here. So I'm going to come in here. Another thing is that the RPMs on this kind of start off a little fast. which means I might be getting a little bit more sling than I want. The nice thing about this polisher is it's easier to handle than the drill, because the drill's, you know, the angle of it with the long shaft. It's great for getting into wheels and stuff, but for this is a great option. I can get back here pretty good. So I guess the goal is just to get the part that I can see. So I'm on speed 1. Yeah, see, that's more sling than I want. I'm going to put something down to protect this guy here. All right, these guys are seriously much nicer. Just took a little effort. Still got some scratches in there, but you know what? That is really nice. Again, all this stuff's going to be scratched up when I use it. Hopefully not so bad, but all right. So let me just check and see how this is. Now, I probably should be using a microfiber towel, but I'm not going to be like, you know, freaking out. If this was my car, I would definitely be using microfiber. Got that rust off, which is cool. That was really an eyesore to me. I'm sure that's a little hard to see, but you probably see it. It looks really good. Now this end here, I didn't do quite as much actually. I could probably, in fact, I see a little rust. I didn't spend as much time down here as I did down in the front. Not sure why, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit that again. But this is really nice. All right, I'm excited about this. You can see this thing is really dirty. I'm just gonna see if I can, with this stuff, with this pad, although it's not very abrasive, I wanna see if I can get this guy to look better. Okay, well, that did a pretty good job. However, it needs a lot more. So basically what I would do is use a more aggressive pad and possibly break out the rotary buffer instead of the dual action. That's just, you know, a lot more aggressive. But if I changed, I have a more aggressive dual action also that I could bring out. And again, that little pad is not made for this kind of stuff, but I mean, what a difference. Just doing that. There's a few, you know, there's still some circular scratches. I can see some rings of the drinks, but I mean, geez, that's a pretty significant difference, you know. That is pretty nasty. I didn't even get on that miter track there. I just trying to wipe it. Look at that. So this is what the steel can look like. See how it's nasty? I mean, look at that one now, and look at this one. That's what I'm talking about. So I don't want this to look like, I don't want that one to look like this. Oh, this is way better. So this is glue right here. I can feel it. So I think the best bet is just to take a razor blade and get the majority of it. And now I can probably get at that mark there. Like I was saying, this guy had a lot of glue on stuff, That is a lot better than it was. Very cool. So if you're wondering what you could do to use, tools that you have to polish cast iron, to clean it. This is just a DA polisher from Harbor Freight. I think it's like $70 or something. And I don't know if they make that one anymore. I think they have different models, but you go on YouTube. There's a million videos of people reviewing them, and they're pretty good. Once you crank up the speed, it's got quite a bit of vibration, but it does a pretty good job. And it's not the loudest thing in the world, but it's certainly not the quietest either. But like I said, given what it just did, granted it took a little while, that's pretty good. And just with a little bit of mother's polish there. All right, well, this thing came out really beautiful, so I'm good to go there. I'm very happy with how that came out, and I will be ready to go for the table here soon. Okay, now to get the bar, the rip fence bar level, I just made sure that the cabinet was level, the saw was level, and the level on top of the bar gives me the level reading on that. So I should be good. I tightened down these. I also used this guy here to determine the distance here. Now I know there's a factory setting, but I didn't change it much. I just changed it so that every one of these would be the same as you go down here to this one to this one. So they're all the same. Now from there, I can bring out these guys to accommodate it. So I just turn that basically until it comes. But what I'll do also is just measure this distance here to make sure that this is the same. So I think I'm flush here. Right there, it's pretty darn close to flush. I mean, the scale goes right there, so it needs to be pretty good. I think it's pretty good right there. So I can take a measurement from here all the way over to here. Just make sure that's equal. And then I can also do the same on the threads here and just measure that. But just getting this level is important as well. So these guys are the same. This thing drops down there just perfect. If that's off a little bit, I guess it's I'll have to fix it later, but at this point, keep it like that. Checking it parallel with the blade and all that stuff. So if this is angled, that's going to throw off the toe, or it's going to throw off the angle.